Great. My name's Matt Kirby. My wife, Amy, and I, and our 5 children are deeply rooted here at the Heights. Amy and I have been going here for over 20 years, and we are all in the next gen ministries. Yeah, so I was fortunate to grow up in a Christian household with a very obedient family. So I actually saw obedience and giving from a very young age. My father would talk about it. We would do it. The tithe was extremely important in our family. And so you fast forward to becoming an adult, and Amy and I get married, and we struggled. In fact, our first year was paying off school loans and sharing a car just to get to work and back. But we still found a way, even in that environment, to give and obediently give consistently and faithfully. And then fast forward a little more, now we're 30 or so, and I remember feeling very called to start giving to a local ministry, a specific local ministry, and Amy and I both did. Almost immediately, I went to okay, so what does that mean I need to take out of the part of my giving that I give to the church? And that was just logically, I give 10%. And I had a ton of conviction about that. And I needed to figure out where this conviction came from. And that's honestly the point of which my heart posture, Amy and I's heart posture towards giving changed. I started looking, biblically speaking, what did giving look like? And I found, before the Mosaic law even came in, there was giving. In fact, God said, Moses, go and gather gifts for the tabernacle. And it actually said, and they will give according to essentially what is movement in their heart. It uses a word in 2 Corinthians that I loved, and this changed the way Amy and I started looking at giving. It says cheerful giver, but if you really look at it, the word is actually translated from Greek back to English as hilarious. The word hilarious. And so can that be a posture that we have in giving, that we're that joyful, that it's hilarious? And we entered into that. And so, that's the moment though, where I really feel like we found a new depth to the act of worship, of giving, where it was actually side by side with Jesus himself, the Holy Spirit guiding what we were going to do. That ministry specifically in 2012 that Amy and I felt pretty convicted to start giving to outside of what we were already giving. Months later, we found out that they actually lost their largest giver because that person had lost their job at the time almost 2 months after we began. And so clear picture, and it actually, faith grows faith. We always say that, right? But we were faithful in that moment. And it was so clear at that time because it was oh my goodness, God literally was prompting us that because he knew this is how he was going to fund this ministry to continue. And that's pretty neat. When it comes to legacy, honestly, Amy and I aren't too worried about what happens after we give money, because what we do is we look for, did God actually ask us to give to this? And the minute the answer is yes, we give. We don't need anybody to call us all the time. We don't need emails all the time. We don't need to know anything. We know we were supposed to give to this. And then if we give right here with the right hand, and then 2 days later, we clearly have been asked to get involved in something else. We don't look at what this hand did. We just walk in this hand and say, yes, let's walk in this. Any legacy that's left, it's because of those that we're discipling, we're walking through life, whether it's our children or people around us, just see Jesus' work. And that's the legacy.